Rain hammered down on the shattered remains of a city that no longer had a name. Smoke coiled from burning vehicles, and the smell of cordite and blood hung thick in the air. Commander Nathan Hale, leader of SEAL Team 9, moved cautiously through the wreckage, his rifle steady, his breath fogging against the cold air of dawn. They had been sent on a rescue mission, a quick extraction. But everything had gone wrong. The intel was flawed, the enemy was prepared, and the ambush hit them before they could even reach the rendezvous point. Now, what remained of his team crawled through the debris, searching for survivors and answers. "Commander, over here," one of his men shouted through the static of the radio. Hale turned sharply, boots splashing through the mud. He followed the voice to where his teammate knelt beside a fallen soldier, a woman, judging by her build and the torn, blood-soaked uniform. Her helmet was cracked, visor shattered. She wasn't one of theirs. Not US Navy. Not local militia. He raised his rifle out of instinct, scanning for threats. The area was quiet, too quiet. Then, as he crouched beside her, something caught his eye, a small silver emblem on her chest plate, half hidden beneath a layer of ash and mud. The emblem was unmistakable, a trident crossed with a dagger. The mark of an elite unit known only to a few in the military, the Ghost Division. Hale's hand trembled slightly. He brushed the dirt away, revealing the insignia more clearly, and then froze. He knew that emblem. Because years ago, he'd designed it himself, for her. Her name was Lieutenant Mara Voss, once his second in command, once the most fearless sniper in his team, and once the woman he loved. She'd vanished 3 years ago during a classified operation off the Baltic coast. Everyone believed she was dead. But here she was, bleeding, yet silent, lying in the ruins of a war she wasn't supposed to be part of. "Mara," he whispered, his voice cracking under the weight of disbelief. "Commander," his teammate asked, confused. "You know her?" Hale didn't answer. He couldn't. His heart was pounding so hard he could barely hear over it. Her eyes fluttered open, weak, glassy, but alive. "Nate," she rasped, blood bubbling on her lips. "You shouldn't be here." He dropped his rifle and pressed his hand to her wound. "Stay still. We'll get you out. Just hold on." She winced, shaking her head. "No, it's too late. Don't you dare say that," he snapped, voice trembling. "Not after I lost you once." For a moment, time slowed. Around them, the rain fell heavier, masking the sound of distant gunfire. His men watched silently, none dared interrupt. Commander Hale, the man they had seen defy death 100 times, now looked utterly broken. "Listen to me," she gasped, clutching his arm. "They're coming for the data drive, in my suit. You can't let them get it. Promise me." He shook his head, eyes wet. "We'll take it together. You and me, just like before." She smiled faintly, the same smile he'd memorized years ago. Always so stubborn. Her hand slipped from his arm, falling limp into the mud. Hale's chest constricted. "No, Mara, stay with me." He tore open his med kit, trying to stop the bleeding, but her pulse was fading. "Commander," one of his men warned, "we've got movement, 4 hostiles closing in." Hale gritted his teeth. "Form perimeter. Hold them off." He leaned close, whispering against her ear. "You're not dying here. Not again." She opened her eyes one last time, and through the blur of pain, whispered, "Then don't make it in vain." A single tear mixed with the rain on his face as her gaze emptied, calm, distant, gone. For a second, Hale didn't move. The battlefield noise faded into silence. The world around him seemed to dissolve, replaced by memories, her laughter on the training field, her steady voice in his comms, her promise before the mission that went wrong. "If I fall, make sure it means something." He'd broken that promise once. He wouldn't again. "Commander." "Orders." Hale stood, his expression cold and hollow. "Retrieve the drive. Burn everything else." "What about her?" He paused. His jaw tightened. She was never here. They secured the data drive from her uniform and began their retreat under fire. Bullets sliced through the air, but Hale moved like a ghost, precise, merciless. Every enemy that crossed his path fell without hesitation. His men followed, silent and grim, feeling the storm that brewed inside their leader. When they reached the extraction point, the chopper blades whipped the rain into a frenzy. As Hale climbed aboard, he looked back at the city, and somewhere within its ruins lay the body of the woman he'd loved, now part of a war buried in secrecy. Hours later, aboard the carrier USS Sentinel, Hale stood alone in the debriefing room. The drive lay on the table before him. Its surface was scorched, the emblem engraved faintly into the casing, the same emblem Mara wore. He stared at it for a long time before unlocking it. The screen blinked to life, displaying encrypted files, coordinates, and one audio log, timestamped just a day before the battle. He pressed play. Her voice came through, tired, weary, but unmistakably hers. "If you're hearing this, it means I failed to stop them. Hale, I never stopped believing in you. Whatever they told you about me, it was all a lie. I had to disappear, to keep them from using me. But I couldn't run forever. Finish what I started. Don't let them win." The message ended with silence. Hale closed his eyes, gripping the table until his knuckles whitened. Outside, the ocean stretched endlessly, dark and endless, like his thoughts. He slipped the drive into his pocket, straightened his uniform, and stepped toward the command deck. A new mission had just begun. He didn't know where it would lead, but one thing was certain: Mara hadn't died for nothing. And for the first time in years, the SEAL commander felt something other than duty, he felt purpose. As the carrier sliced through the waves, dawn began to break over the horizon. The light caught the drops of rain still clinging to his uniform, like tiny reminders of a woman who had been bleeding yet silent, and a promise that would echo in every operation he led from that day forward.